So Allah used a word that's derived and associated with the hypocrite to tell us to spend urgency and spend with enthusiasm, because there's a hypocrite, there's another one that's spending to hurt you, to shut you down, to stop you, to deceive you, to make you look bad. So the same word, yunfikun, if you put the M like we did the other, right, what do you get? Munafikun, right? Nefeka is hypocrite. Munafikun, 63, go look it up and you will see it's called munafikun. Its root letters would be the noon, the fat, and the cough, right from here. So when he says, spend of what I have given you, because he's letting you know there's another one, a munafikun, there's a hypocrite that is spending his money, spending his resources, spending his time to deceive you and I and the world and make us look like something that we're not. So he's presenting himself as something that he's not. So he's spending. He's not like the disbeliever, the kafir, the kufa, who just say, I don't believe in that. As Allah says, to you be your way and me be mine. He'll say, I don't believe in what you believe and I'm going about my business. And he may cover something up. But the munafiq, he's spending. He's making an effort to deceive you and to deceive us to stop your progress, right? As Muhammad the Prophet said, the worst is the man who come to you with one face and me with another, the two-faced man, right? So from this word spend that Allah used here, yunfikun, you put the M on it, it's saying that there's one that's spending hard, that's consistently spending on the media and the newspaper to make you look bad, to shut you down, to block what you have, make it look like you're all terrorists, and then show you that they're doing it to deceive you as a hypocrite. Allah says, Shaitan said, I think it's in Surah 7 or 15, where he said, I'm going to lay and wait on Surat al-Mustaqim. That I'm going to come on the Surat al-Mustaqim to deceive them, right? And Allah said in the Qur'an, O you who believe, enter Islam full-heartedly. Enter full-heartedly and don't follow the footsteps of Shaitan, because he's laying and waiting on Surat al-Mustaqim. And he said, I'm going to come from in front of him, behind him, from his left and his right. So the hypocrite pretends to be something that he's not. He says with his mouth what is not in his heart. So that's why this same word is used to let us know, brothers and sisters, spend hard. Understand the importance of spending to preserve and maintain what you have, because there's a hypocrite that's trying to tear it down. He's spending. And he's spending hard, and we know it, right? Spending hard to stop what you have, to stop the progress, right? To give a bad image. You're spending hard. They're constantly spending. Even in this coronavirus, they send something out, right? Muslims ain't going to go by. You don't know what they're going to do. Muslims been on the front line. Don't worry about that. Muslims on the front line, in hospitals, everywhere. But they want to float something like that, right? Let's see what they're going to do in Ramadan. So they're constantly spending. So Allah is saying, he's spending hard. So what I've given you, you spend just as hard, because this is a matter of life and death. He's trying to stop you and pretend like he's with you. So here it doesn't use the word zakat, and it doesn't use the word sadaqah or any other. Been here, it's expenditure, yes, but it's saying spend. But just like we did with the Amin, with Muttaqin, we did with Muhammad, we did with Mu'adhin, just take it and put it on this. And what you come up with? Munafiqun. And that's a surah called the hypocrite. Surah 63. And he really showed up when Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ received a revelation in the Qur'an in the 9th month. So, keep that in mind. Now, all of that is coming off of this. So, Allah is saying, establish the salat, believe in the unseen. But brothers and sisters, he's emphasizing. So let us do what we have to do during coronavirus. Spend to support your master, support your businesses, to support what you have to do. Always, that's zakat and sadaqah. But here Allah is emphasizing, spend to defend what you have. Use your resources, use your education, spend in every way you can in your prayers. Spend to defend yourself, because there's always an enemy coming to take it. And Allah said in the Qur'an, He says, not a prophet or messenger that He raised up that He didn't assign an opposition, an enemy to him. So this yunfikun, look it up. You'll see it, the noon, the fa, and the qaf. But there's also spending what Allah has given you. Razak, the nourishments that Allah has given you. Not what somebody said, what has been given to you from Allah. But that hypocrite is spend from wherever he can get it. He has steal, lie, whatever. Now, and that's ayat 3. And then it says, and inshallah, we're going to go up to maybe ayat 9 or something, and then move on. And then Allah going to show you that He's going to bring up those who say one thing, but they believe something different. So this is in Baqarah, the first 5 ayat right here, before we flip the page. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. Now, it start out with muttaqin, with the taqwa. Then it goes to those who believe, right? This is believe in the unseen, establish salat, spend hard, consistent out of what the provisions Allah has given you. Now listen again. And those who believe, and I hope you have your Qur'an and you can follow along. I'm reading the Arabic, so again, we can try to help and give a little, maybe some clarity in some ways, inshallah, inshallah. As long as your heart is good, Allah will reward you, alhamdulillah. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. And who believe in what has been sent down unto you, Muhammad, alayka, unto you, وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ. And what was sent down before you. And you hear the word qablika, qibla, the qaf, the ba, like qablika, right? That means before. It also means accepted, right? We say taqabbala, the accepted qibla, the ancient and accepted qibla that was given to Ibrahim and others before, right? So it means before, but it also means accept, taqabbala, to accept, right? And its direction, the accepted direction by Allah, alhamdulillah. So he said, what has been sent down to you and before your time. And that's the Injil, the Torah, Suhufi Ibrahim, wa Musa, the writings, of Moses and Ibrahim alayhi salam. So we believe in that, the Qur'an and scriptures before that, right? And the Qur'an comes as a verification and a purification of the previous scriptures if necessary, right? It verifies it, right? And it purifies where it has to be purified, right? Corrected. But that's who believe in that. We're still on belief, from taqwa, belief. Now listen how this ayat 4 continues. That's ayat 4. And listen to what it says this. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. The language changes. So it goes from those who have taqwa, muttaqin, and yu'minun, the believers, right? And who believe in your spending, but believe in Qur'an, the scriptures sent down before Qur'an. But listen to this. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. Yuqinun. This word yaqeen, and you read it, I'm sure the translation have it this here, say, who are yaqeen, and you read it, I'm sure the translation have it this here, say, who are certain, sure of the akhirah, sure of the future day, next day and day beyond. Now, let's look there. So it moved from, all of it coming off of taqwa, then believe, but here it says, who are certain. The yuqinun, right? That's yaqeen, right? And Allah speaks of yaqeen, the 3 yaqeen. He says, now this yuqinun is certain, definite. Been there, done that. I know for sure this is with me, right? having been tried, tested, and proven. So Allah says those who are certain of the accurate. Now you want to be certain of the future life, certain of the next day. So he says those who have such a conviction that they so sure that, as Allah said, the result of good in this life will be good in the next life, right? That they believe that there's a life beyond this life. They're so convinced and certain as if they've been to that life. So Allah says those who are certain, sure, been there, done that, right? I know this is the way. That they've arrived at that. But understand, this is in relations to all of that I'm so sure that I'm going to have to pay for my deeds the next day, and the big day, that I'm so sure of that I'm going to live like Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ said when he was at, what is it saying? It said it's to live your life as if you see Allah, like we looking at each other. He said, but although you know you don't see him, know that he sees you. So you say, I'm sure this is for me, right? So it says those who, so we want to say, so yukimun. So you see the three levels here? Off of that, you get muttaqin, those with the taqwa. Yu'minun, believers. And yuqinun. So those are graduations. You got the taqwa, loving fear of Allah, and you believe, it strengthens your belief. And then you go from belief to certainty, to surety. And Allah says he ends, and we'll get back to this yuqinun. Allah is yaqeen. When you go to Surah 102, Ayat 5 and Ayat 7, Allah speaks of they will see the hellfire with El-Amin, certain, sure, definite knowledge. No question, this is the hellfire. And with Ain, eyes like river, Ain, now Yaqeen, with sure, clear vision, that for sure I'm looking at hellfire. And I know this is hell. So he says Yaqeen. And then Allah speaks in Surah 56 and in another surah, Allah speaks of Yaqeen Haq. Yaqeen Haq. He said, Innahu Haqqul Yaqeen. That's Surah 56, Ayat 95. So it mentions this Yaqeen in three. Ayn al Yaqeen, Ayn al Yaqeen, and Haq Yaqeen. Three Yuqinun, Yaqeen. Now, so we're going to get back to that because it's so important. When you reach certainty, and in our life we may have been through all kinds of things, right, brothers and sisters, and we may be going through this test right here to bring you to be of the yuqinun. I'm certain, I'm sure from my life and what I've been through that Islam is for me, that this is the deen for me, that doing right is for me. I'm sure of that. I don't believe it. I know that this is for me. And I know that if I do good, that the result would be good. So it's coming to a point of convincing, like tried, tested, and proven, So here, now, since we're on this yuqinun, then Allah, and we'll come back to it, and Allah says, Ulaika ala hudan min rabbihim wa ulaika humul muflihun. And it says, these are those that go to the top who have guidance from their Lord. The book of guidance, right? And these are those humul muflihun, who will be successful. Falah. And in our salah, and there then, hayat falah, come to success, right? Qad aflaha mu'minun. The believers will be successful. Now that's the believers. So we'll do a couple of more ayat here. And then we're going to come back to the other. Then it says, ayat 6. And this is where I always emphasize, be thankful and grateful that you are Muslim. You are a believer. and you're striving hard to be a better believer. But be thankful that at one point we might have been disbelievers. You know, us here, many of us, we came back to our original religion, our original life of El-Islam. But we came from Christianity, we came from this, we came from that. And be thankful that Allah allowed us to hear the call to El-Islam and for us to embrace Islam in our hearts and our minds, etc. Be thankful. Be thankful. Like the old book say, many are called, but few are chosen. And I've read and I've said this, the lips of wisdom only speak to the ear of understanding. And when the adhan is called, is raised to the ear, to let you know that you are to listen to what you're saying yourself. That's so. And the word adhan means the same as ears. Adhan, they mean the same. Hearing, ears, udhun, ears, and that's adhan. So it's put on listening. So be thankful we was able to hear the call to Islam, take shahadatain and be a Muslim, striving hard to be good believers. And why is that? Now, we just talked about believers. Allah said those who will be successful. Now it goes to ayat 6 after pointing that. And listen to what it says. Inna ladina kafaru sawa'un alayhim and anzartahum am lam tunzirhum la yu'minun. Now that talked about the muttaqin, the believers, and yuqinun. So listen what Allah says. Surely there are those who disbelieve. Some among the disbelievers. Sawa, it is level. When they say a stove, make the line level, right? It is balanced. It is duly proportioned. It is level. You read and you say, it is the same whether you warn them or do not warn them, they won't believe. We just talked about the believers, right? Who believe in the book now, before that, Salat, all of that. So Allah said, but there are some, and thank Allah it wasn't us. It wasn't you, that you were Muslim. Among the disbelievers, but once we were disbelievers. Among them, whether you, and this was sawa, understand that, it's level, it's balance, right? Allah says in Surah 87, Sabbi hismi al-ala, Sabbi hismi rabbika al-ala, alladhi khalaqa fasawa. That glorify the name of your Lord who created and gave you balance, leveled you, gave you balance. And Allah says in another place, when he told the angels to bow to the Basha, he says, after I breathed into him, and he says, Sawaitahu, Sawa. And when I have duly proportioned him, balanced him, leveled it. So Allah says, everything is the same everywhere. All over, they're leveled. Whether you warn them or don't warn them, they won't believe. It ain't going to change. It's level right across the board. Now, we could have been that. That whether you warn them or do not warn them, they won't believe. So you can waste your time. But Allah, we don't know who they are. Allah said there are some from among the disbelievers. Now, and why is that? And that's why I say you be thankful. Allah says in Surah 7, كَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. And he says, كَتَمَ النَّبِيِّينَ, the seal of the prophet. He says, because Allah has, first things first, sealed their hearts so they can't get this deen. They be thankful that it wasn't us. And Muhammad the Prophet said there's a piece of flesh that's in the body. If it is good, the whole body is good. If it is bad, the whole body is bad. He says the qalb, the heart, qalb. So Allah said is the reason their level, whether you warn them or not, Allah says it is because he has put a seal on their heart. Meaning the first thing is to be sincere in the deen, right? Be sincere about embracing the deen, right? And Allah said in another place, he says, when he wants to guide a people, he expands their sudur, their chest, with Islam, where the heart and the lungs are, right? So he said he sealed that, so it can't get into their heart. That's why they can't. And then he says this here, وَأَلَا سَمْئِهِمْ, and their ears, meaning they can't hear the beautiful call of their adhan, the beautiful words of Allah and his messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he sealed their heart and their hearing. And then he says, And listen how the language changed. وَأَلَا أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَارَةٌ. And he has put a covering. He did not say katamat for the eyes, for the perception. It don't even say ayn, it say perception. Their vision, their perception is, ayn is the eye itself. And here it says basir, right? Their perception. But he has put a covering on their perception. They're hoodwinked. So they can't get it in their heart. They can't even hear the beautiful message of Islam. And they can't even see the beautiful picture of this beautiful deen. So as whether you want it, and so that's why I say be thankful we're Muslims and believers, because that could have been one of us. We were disbelievers, right? And Allah says for them is a terrible punishment, a mighty al-Amin. And now we get back to what we say, munafiqun a little bit here, and then we're going to move on from here. Allah says this here. Min al-nasi, and you have your Qur'an out. Min al-nasi, man yaqulu amana billahi wa bil yawmil akhir wa ma hum bimu'minin. He said, there are those from among mankind who say they believe in Allah and they believe in the last day, but they don't really believe. See, that's munafiqun, right? They saying it and listen, but they don't really believe. So that's yunfiqun, right? Munafiq, right? It comes back to that. And those are the ones that's heart is sealed, their ear is sealed, and a covering put over their vision. And listen what the next ayat says, and then we'll close here and go to where I want to go. So now, ayat 9 says what? يُقَادِئُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Allah says, they seek to deceive Allah. That's the hypocrite, right? So he seek to deceive Allah, pretending like he believes. You think you're deceiving Allah? So they out of it, right? That they seek to deceive Allah and those who believe. It say, but they really just deceive their own crazy self, and they don't realize it. And that's why we say unifiqun, spin, because there's another one. There's another force that's spinning to hurt you, to stop your progress. So now you're spending as one who's defending your properties, defending your life, defending your master, defending what you have achieved. So spend, brothers and sisters, spend your money, spend your time, spend your efforts. And Allah says, so that one, and be grateful. That's my point. Be grateful here that you're a Muslim and a believer, and we were able to. We were not of that crew that couldn't hear this, and that Allah sealed their hearts. And Allah says, "Fi qulubihim maradun, fazadahum Allahu marada, wallahum adhabun alimun bima kanu yakdhibun." Allah says, because there's a sickness, a disease in their heart, and Allah increases that disease. And for them, it's a terrible punishment because they deny, the boom, lies. So we can keep going on, but for here we want to go back to the yuqinun, yaqeen. Okay, we're going to go to the board now. Remember that Allah say they are certain, the yuqinun, yaqeen. And for all of us, Allah may take us through the struggles of life, the good, the bad, even with this COVID-19, to bring you to that certainty that Allah is God, that Allah is in charge. Now, we're on the board, like the paper anyway, I'm calling it a board. Ibrahim alayhi salam. This is after the middle of Ibrahim, we're told, right? And we turn towards the Kaaba that's built by Ibrahim and his son Ishmael for every salat, right? And then we say Maqam Ibrahim, and we know he's called Khalil, he's the friend of Allah, etc., right? And before we end the salat, We have to say, "Oh Allah, make Muhammad successful and the followers of Muhammad successful as you did make Abraham successful and the followers of Ibrahim successful, and bless Muhammad and bless the followers of Muhammad as you did bless Ibrahim and the followers of Ibrahim, for surely you are magnified," etc. Right? And Muhammad the Prophet ascended to the seven heavens, and they met Ibrahim, and we know all about Ibrahim. And Allah said, "We inspired you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to follow the millah, the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam." And Allah did take him as a friend, and all of that's associated with Ibrahim, right? And in our reading, I'm sure a few days ago, you came across the Surah Ibrahim, Surah 14, right? And that starts out that this revelation has been sent down to bring mankind from dhulumati ila nur, from oppressive darkness into light, right? That's what it shows, right? And that's there because Ibrahim went through that stage from darkness into light, right? So that's why his surah is there. So now, if you get your Qur'an and you go to Surah 6, the cattle and Ami, right? You got it. And ayat 75 on down. But what I have here on the board is 75 of Surah 6 and a part of 76. And then under that, if you can get this bottom part, this is something from 53, the star, ayat 32, that's going to connect to that. Okay? So, you have your Quran, and you read what you can read, either in the Arabic or the English. And I'm, again, in Arabic to point out certain things that's not carried over. Okay? This is knowledge-wise, inshallah, not heart-wise. Because you can read whatever, if your heart and you're sincere, Allah will reward you just as much as me reading the Arabic if my heart isn't right. But this is just for knowledge's sake, okay? It says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Very important.